Deputy Speaker, sir, in September 2025, someone came to see me at the office to inform me about the alleged exportation and sales of subsidized flour to Comoros Island. My ministry has started an internal investigation and found that the fraud began no later than July 2024. In view of the seriousness of the allegations and the possible diversion of flour intended for subsidized bread production in Mauritius, on 14th of October 2025, the Mauritius Police Force was requested to investigate into the matter with a view to determining the source of procurement of the flour exported by Mr. Moenze. On 23rd December 2025, the Central Criminal Investigation Department, CCID, has informed my ministry that according to records kept at the Passport and Immigration Office, Mr. Abdul Hakim Moenze is presently abroad and his expected date of return is unknown. As such, no statement was thus recorded. An officer in charge of PIU was instructed to notify the CCID upon the arrival of Mr. Abdul Hakim Moenze for investigation. Subsequently, on 6 March 2026, a request was also made to the Financial Crimes Commission to investigate into the matter and to determine whether any offence falling under its purview that may have been committed. As reported in the press, Mr. Abdullah Hakim Moenze was arrested on 18th April 2026 by the Financial Crime Commission. Mr. Babu Virendranath Singh Gaurisankar, a 54-year-old director of Rider Express Company Limited, was also arrested on 20th April 2026. He is suspected of having conspired with Mr. Abdul Hakim Moenze while acting in his capacity as director of Rider Express Company Limited. The investigation is still underway. In addition, my ministry is working on corrective measures which include the introduction of specific regulations to prohibit the export of subsidized goods without prior authorization. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, as regards Part B of the question, since July 2024 till date, 287.5 metric tons of flour have been exported to Comoros Island. Investigations are still ongoing to determine with certainty the exact origin of all quantities concerned and whether all or part thereof consisted of subsidized flour. As for the corresponding financial loss to government, it would be premature to state a definitive figure at this stage, as same will depend on the quantities conclusively established as having benefited from subsidy support and subsequently diverted from their intended purpose. Once investigations are completed and verified facts are available, we will be in a better position to state the extent of the financial loss.
Yes, question.
Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Vice-président. Can the Minister inform the House whether selling a bag of flour at 108 rupees to bakers constituted a significant loophole in this massive fraud? Thank you.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, it is definitely a loophole which was here, and the government has come with corrective measures. We eliminated the price of 108 rupees, which is now 217 rupees and 50 cents. We have to also mention that the cost price of a bag of flour costs 650 rupees. So it is, now we have a subsidized price at at $217.50 per bag.
Last one.
Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Vice-président. Can the Minister inform the House about the current status of the subsidy account? I understand that 7 roupies 20 is being collected from the sales of Mogas and gas oil to finance flour, LPG gas and jury ration. Merci.
This is very far from your question. Your supplementary is very far from your
He's
question.
asking about the subsidy, in fact, how it is being financed.
Account.
So, in fact, we have a deficit in the subsidy account. So let me give you the details. As at 30th of June 2022, there was a deficit of 871 million rupees. As at 30th of June 2023, there was another deficit of 243,000 rupees. As at 30th of June 2024, another deficit of 109 million rupees. As at 30th of June 2025, 681 million rupees. So the total is 1.9 billion rupees. This is why we have come with corrective measures.
The Honourable Fourth Member for Wooding.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, B526.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I'm informed by the Food and Agriculture Research and Extension Institute that currently 24,385 pigs are being reared in Mauritius. As for Rodrigue, the Commissioner of Agriculture, Rodrigue has informed that for the period January to December 2025, about 14,200 pigs were reared in Rodrigue. Mr. Deputy Speaker, with regard to Part A of the question, statistics available at Statistics Mauritius show that the import of pork products for the year 2025 for Mauritius was around 1,300 tons, and these products were imported from Spain, Brazil, France, China, Denmark, Australia, Italy, and Turkey. As for local pork production for the year 2025, 695 tons of meat were delivered to the market after slaughter at the Mauritius Meat Authority. For statistics on pork products for Rodrigue, the Commissioner of Agriculture, Rodrigue, has informed that the Ministry, based on assumptions made and on slaughter statistics for the past few years, it is estimated that the demand for pork in Rodrigue for both consumption and processing is approximately 485 tons per year. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, with regard to Part B of the question, the facilities and support available to breeders by this government comprise of feed subsidy, breeders support scheme, and grant scheme. Under the feed scheme, pig breeders registered by Small Farmers Welfare Fund are provided vouchers of 20 rupees per kilogram of feed purchased up to a maximum of 800 kilograms per breeder. For financial year 25-26, 122 pig breeders out of 128 registered pig breeders of Mauritius have benefited from the scheme. As for the Breeders' Support Scheme introduced in 2025, breeders can avail of subsidies and grants for, amongst others, reinforcing biosecurity at farm level, acquisition of green technologies, drilling of borehole facilities, acquisition of modern and innovative technologies, and product packaging and marketing. 15 applications received for these schemes are under process by the Small Farmers and Welfare Fund, awaiting further information from applicants. As regards the grant schemes, breeders are provided subsidies for the purchase of agricultural equipment, upgrading, construction of pigsty, acquisition of CCTV, and rainwater harvest. To date, one breeder has benefited from purchase of equipment for a sum of 100,000 rupees. Two breeders have received a total of 221,500 rupees for upgrading of farm, and another two breeders' application for a total of 129,410,000 rupees have been approved. For the subsidy for acquisition of CCTV camera, one application was received for an amount of 15,000 rupees 540, and same has been approved. Mr. Deputy Speaker, with regards to facilities provided to pig farmers, I'm informed that during the financial year 24-25, a pig feed scheme was implemented to support pig farming. However, it has not been implemented in the financial year 2025-2026 due to lack of funds and an excess of pigs on the market. But this will be redressed. In addition to this, at least free meat subsidy campaign are implemented yearly to provide farmers with a reliable market.
Yes, Honorable Leader.
Thank you. I thank the Honourable Minister for his reply. May I ask the Honourable Minister if there is specific support for the market in Mauritius of excess pigs from road rigs?
I will venture and dare to venture, but you can rest assured that there is parity of esteem in respect to the facilities being extended to road rig. And I have said, if there is a shortcoming, it will be addressed forcefully and meaningfully.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Marks with the Honourable Minister, the lost consignment of live pigs exported to Mauritius from Maurice dated back in 2015. May I know whether there is discussion by your ministry with local authorities in Maurice to resume live importation of pigs with all required sanitary and or veterinary protocols?
Yeah, as you say, subject to that there is full compliance to sanitary and phytosanitary norms, certainly this could be entertained, but I cannot give you a decisive reply.
Just one more, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. Marks Honorable, rightly so, you mentioned that there's a surplus of around 14,000 pigs in Oryx. Question pour scope dans Oryx, Monsieur Speaker. Yes. Will the Honourable Minister confirm whether there is an established protocol or trade agreement for possible export of pork or pork products to neighbor countries like Seychelles?
But this matter has to be raised at the level of the Indian Ocean Commission, and we have to make sure that, there's compliance to sanitary and phytosanitary norms. If the market is there and available, not only Seychelles, but as member of SADC, we can certainly widen circle of opportunities and look for markets in many of these countries. Yeah.
Honourable First Member for Savannah River.
B527, please.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, at the very outset, I wish to inform the Honourable Member that my ministry is not responsible for dredging or desilting works at La Valise boat passage, as this does not fall under our jurisdiction. Therefore, the District Council of Black River has neither carried out desilting works at La Valise boat passage, nor does it have the legal mandate to undertake such coastal dredging works. I am also informed that the District Council has not received complaints regarding navigational difficulties at that particular location. However, within its inland mandate, the Council has undertaken desilting works in nearby rivers channels, namely at Rivière Saint-Martin in September 2019, October 2021, February 2023, and February 2026, and at Grande Rivière Nord in February 2023. I am also informed that the Land Drainage Authority completed cleaning and desilting works along Rivière Saint-Martin over approximately 3.5 kilometers up to A3 Black River Road in February 2023. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, although this matter does not fall under the District Council's direct responsibility, I cause inquiry to be made in good faith with all relevant authorities concerned. The Ministry of Agro, Food Security, Blue Economy and Fisheries has advised that the La Balise boat passage is presently practicable for navigation and no complaints have been registered from fishermen regarding thereon. The Beach Authority also has been confirmed that he has no mandate to dredging or desilting in the lagoon or river mouth area, as its role is confined to beach management only. I am further informed by the Ministry of Environment, Solid Waste Management and Climate Change that a request submitted by La Balise Marina in April 2025 for dredging at the Rivière Noire mouth could not proceed as such works require an environmental impact assessment under item 27 of the 6th schedule of the Environment Act 2024, and no application has been submitted by the promoter till date. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, with regard to part B of the question, I am informed that a separate request was made in January this year, in January 2026, by the Commissioner of Police for urgent desilting works at the National Coast Guard berthing area at Black River, where sediment deposition was affecting the safe berthing and operational deployment. Following a site visit by several authorities, the Ministry of Environment issued on March 2026 a no objection for desilting works strictly limited to that particular operational area, subject to given environmental safeguards. I am further informed that Police Department and the Ministry of National Infrastructure are currently finalizing the technical specification, following which a bidding exercise will be launched soon for implementation. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I therefore wish to reiterate that the District Council of Black River is not responsible body for coastal dredging or desilting at La Balise. Nevertheless, all relevant authorities have been consulted, and where intervention is required, the authorities are taking the necessary action through appropriate legal, technical, and environmental procedures to go ahead with the Commissioner of Police request.
The Honourable Shadow Member for Kochi-Vitiamoka.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I wish to inform the House that the disruptions to the electricity supply at Mohanlal Mohit Government School situated at L'Avenir are currently localized to 5 classrooms within a single block. This situation is the direct result of water ingress caused by roof leakages. I must emphasize that the electrical supply to these specific rooms was disconnected by the Energy Services Division as a proactive and essential safety measure to protect both students and staff. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, upon consultation, the ESD advised that no viable quick fix or medium-term electrical bypass could be safely implemented while the water ingress persisted. Consequently, the only sustainable solution is to resolve the structural leakages before reinstating power. To this end, a comprehensive assessment of the entire school compound has been completed. I can confirm the following timeline of actions taken by the Ministry. 11 February 2026, invitations for bids were officially launched. 25th February 2026, procurement process closed, followed by a rigorous evaluation. 27th April 2026, the contract was formally awarded following endorsement by the Zonal Bid Committee. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, physical works on site are tentatively scheduled to commence during the first week of May 2026. The scope of work, which includes extensive roof repairs and associated remedial tasks, is expected to last 4 weeks. Immediately upon completion of these repairs, the ESD will be directed to conduct a safety inspection and reinstate the power supply. we anticipate the classrooms will be fully operational by early June 2026. In the interim, I have been assured that robust contingency arrangements are in place to ensure that pedagogical activities continue without hindrance. The safety and educational continuity of our learners remain our absolute priority. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Honorable members, the table has been advised that PQ is B533, B541, B543, B546, B548, B558 have been withdrawn. The Honorable Third Member for Flag Bonacay.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, sir. B529.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I wish to inform the House that the National Pension Fund was established under Section 37 of the National Pension Act 1976, which shall be administered by the Minister of Social Security in accordance with the Finance and Audit Act. Contributions to the fund were being made by both employers and employees of the private sector at the rate of 6% and 3%, respectively, under the National Pension Scheme. However, the previous government stopped the contribution scheme in August 2020 and introduced the Contribution Sociale Généralisée, CSG, as from 1st September 2020. I'm assuming that the Honourable Member is referring to the National Savings Fund instead of National Solidarity Fund. The National Savings Fund, NSF, was established under Section 3 of the National Savings Fund Act 1995, with the objectives to provide for the payment of a lump sum to every employee on his retirement and in respect of every employee at the time of his death, and to set up and operate for the benefits of employees such scheme including loan schemes as may be prescribed. Employers contribute 2.5% in respect of each employee. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, Section 38 of the National Pensions Act provide for the setting up of a NPF-NSF investment committee under the chair of the Financial Secretary. Any surplus remaining in the National Pensions Fund and National Savings Fund may at any time be held on deposit with the government or invested in such manner as the NPF and NSF Investment Committee may determine. With regard to Part A of the question, I am informed that the fund value, that is the balance standing to the credit of the National Pensions Fund, stood at around 165.1 billion rupees, and the fund value of the National Savings Fund stood at around 50.26 billion as at December 2025. Mr. Deputy Speaker, may I add for the attention of the House that the regeneration of the National Pension Fund to replace the Contribution Sociale Généralisée is presently one of the attributions of the Commission of Experts on Pension Reforms set up by the Cabinet in September 2025 with a view to overhaul the national pension system. A ministerial committee on pension reforms has also been set up by the Cabinet to provide guidance to the Commission on strategic direction and policy priorities for the reform of the pension system, and to access and act on the recommendations of the Commission under the chair of the Prime Minister. The following ministers form part of the steering committee: the Deputy Prime Minister, the Minister of Agro-Industry, Food Security, Blue Economy and Fisheries, the Minister of Social Integration, Social Security and National Solidarity, the Minister of Financial Services and Economic Planning, the Minister of Labour and Industrial Relations, the Minister of Industry, SME and Cooperatives, the Junior Minister of Finance, and the Junior Minister of Social Integration, Social Security and National Solidarity. As at date, no meeting of the Steering Committee on Pension Reform has been held. Mr. Deputy Speaker, with regard to Part B of the question, I wish to inform the House that the fact that these two funds are investment funds and they constantly buy and sell on a day-to-day basis. And as a matter of example, NPF has purchased some 222 billion rupees of government instruments over the past 10 years. And these investments have matured and being reinvested. As at 31st December 2025, the NPF return on investment was 7.25, and the NSF return on investment was 7.21%. And as at 31st December, an annual return of both NPF and NSF since 2015 are being tabled. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir.
The Honourable Second Member for Rodrigue.
Yes, thank you. B-stroke 530.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Deputy Speaker, as at date, there are 2,506 registered fishermen or fishers. And in accordance with Section 120, bracket 3 of the Fisheries Act, every fisherman must be issued with a fisherman registration card along with a fisher identity card. Moreover, Section 121 of the Fisheries Act provides that every registered fisher shall have in his or her possession his or her fisher identity card while engaging in fishing or fishing-related activities. The fisher ID card, which is a hard and waterproof plastic card, contains the following details: full name, address of the fisherman, fisherman registration number, name of fisheries post where the fisherman is registered, mode and ground of fishing, and name of the fish landing station concerned. Mr. Deputy Speaker, hence there is today both a plastic fisher identity card and a fisher registration card, which is a 14-page paper basket booklet. Now, being given that the fisher registration card may be is prone to damage when in contact with water, a plastic fisher identity card has been issued to every single registered fisher around the island. As of now, both fisher identity card and fisher registration card are serving the purpose for which they are meant.
Honourable Second Member again. B532.
Yes.
Ah.
B532.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. Mauritius, being a small island developing state, is highly vulnerable to climate-related hazards, such as severe tropical cyclones, flash floods, sea level rise, massive beach erosion, and heat waves, among others. As such, the country and our people are at great risk and is exposed to changing climate conditions and crisis. Having registered our first climate-related disaster in 2013 with the death of 11 of our citizens, Mauritius have put in place its first major legal and institutional framework to mitigate climate risk and response to climate emergencies. The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Act was enacted in 2016. During the last 10 years, various shortcomings of this legal framework have been highlighted, especially when 2 workers tragically lost their lives during the Belal cyclone torrential rain in January 2024. Being part of the ministerial committee presided by my colleague, Honorable Minister Reza Yutim, I am informed that the new legal framework on torrential rain to protect the lives of workers without discrimination will be a reality shortly. Madam Speaker, Mr. Deputy Speaker, climate issues are cross-sectional and intersect with many ministries and institutions. My ministry, which has been historically responsible of evacuee centers for cyclonic conditions, has seen its mandate in 2015 been extended to open the 156 evacuee centers under its responsibility, upon a request from the National Emergency Operations Center, NEOC, in the event of torrential rain, flooding, or any other national disasters. These evacuee centers are supplied with basic amenities such as bottled water, biscuits, baked beans, now canned tuna, and yoga mats. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I am further informed that in accordance with the Social Aid Regulations 1984, a cyclone allowance of 250 rupees is payable to person per night spent at the evacuee center, and a flood allowance amounting to 250 rupees is payable for damaged foodstuffs per person per day for a maximum of 3 days upon presentation of a police memo. When this new government took office, based on the responsibility of past responsibility of my ministry, I reframed this ministry's role in the context of climate crisis unfolding in the Republic of Mauritius and on its people. I created a climate unit in my ministry to work for the recognition and integration of the concept of climate-related victims within climate policy framework of the new government. The climate crisis is not only an issue of reduction of carbon emission under NDC, nationally determined contribution for countries like ours. Climate crisis has become a living reality, generating climate-related victims with loss of lives, personal belongings, and affecting the very livelihood of the people, especially the most socially vulnerable and the climate vulnerable people. Thus, my ministry has reshaped the climate policy of our country towards what is called in the climate jargon, adaptation and mitigation, with emphasis on the affected people, that is, climate-related victims. The Right Honourable is right in asking on measures put in place or being envisaged to mitigate the effects on vulnerable peoples and assistance provided to those affected. The Social Integration Division of my ministry has been for the past several years, had several projects.
You've got long to go. We can circulate the answer if you so wish.
Yes, I can circulate it. That's not a problem. With pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Thank you.
Can I put a supplementary?
Yes, of course. You could get
Thank you. Thank you, Honourable Minister. Very interesting subject. Will the Honourable Minister agreeable with me that social protection to climate change is a bit underrepresented in our determined contribution NDC 3.0, as it is mostly related to absorb the impact shocks but not a sustainable social protection system, system, which should look into environment and development process through cross-sectoral policies to avoid and minimize residual loss and damage. May I know whether Mauritius applied for any funds under the loss and damage funds created during COP28 to strengthen resilience and to help people affected or victims from climate change?
I thank the honourable member, and this is in fact the next part of my answers. That's when I will circulate, but I'm just mentioning that there are several mitigating measures that we are envisaging: flood-proofing, flood barriers, properly equipped evacuation centers, providing water harvesting systems, early warning systems, and maybe relocation of socially vulnerable people and climate vulnerable, that we will be presenting together with the Ministry of Environment, in fact, to the Fund for Responding to Loss and Damage, the FRLD. And some of the measures will be presented in the conference that will be held in Mauritius, with the Mauritius Climate Investment Fund. What we are aiming at is trying to get the Global Climate Fund to be used for climate-related victims. And most of these funds, because of the budgetary constraint, will be kind of non-budgetary, but externally or other source of fund. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honourable Third Member for Portrush South, Portrush Central.
B534, please.
Monsieur le Vice-président, le CEB m'informe qu'il existe actuellement un parc éolien à la centrale de Plaine des Roches d'une capacité installée de 9,35 MW et qui fait l'objet d'un contrat d'un PPA signé le 15 juillet 2013 qui a été inauguré après par le gouvernement de 2014-2015. Le parc éolien comprend 11 éoliennes qui représentent environ 0,3% du mix électrique national. Il convient aussi de noter, Monsieur le Vice-président, qu'un projet de parc éolien à Plaine des Roches, à Plaine Sophie, d'une capacité de 29,4 MW avait été initié dans le temps, entre 2018-2019, mais finalement abandonné en novembre 2020. Monsieur le Vice-président, l'énergie éolienne est l'une des composantes de notre stratégie nationale en matière d'énergie renouvelable. Mon ministère, le CEB, Marina, IMO, entend diversifier le bouquet énergétique renouvelable en combinant à moyen et à long terme des technologies éprouvées, comme l'éolien, le solar et d'autres technologies telles que l'éolien en mer. Concernant les points A et B de la question, Monsieur le Vice-président, le CEB propose, là, actuellement, nous proposons d'étendre le parc éolien de Plaine des Roches d'une capacité supplémentaire de 15 à 20 MW. Le régime de vent et de performance des turbines étant déjà connu, parce que nous l'avons fait en 2013, nous sommes en train d'acquérir environ 90 hectares de terre à Plaine des Roches pour le développement de ce projet. Le CEB prépare actuellement l'appel d'offres qui sera lancé d'ici juin de cette année-ci. Le projet sera mis en œuvre selon le modèle d'un IPP et produira environ, je l'espère, autour de 20 MW. Mon ministère, Monsieur le Vice-président, étudie activement le développement de l'énergie éolienne en mer. Une étude pré-faisabilité menée par l'Université du Technique du Danemark a identifié un potentiel d'environ 100 MW, notamment dans la région du nord-nord-est du pays, nord-nord du pays. D'autres études sont en cours d'élaboration avec le soutien des partenaires internationaux. Monsieur le Vice-président, il faut bien se dire que notre stratégie en ce qui concerne l'énergie renouvelable repose sur 5 axes solides. Depuis une année, nous travaillons sur la stratégie pour atteindre 60% d'énergie renouvelable, non pas en 2030, mais en 2035. Donc on se donne autour de 10 ans, 2026-2035, autour de 9 à 10 ans, pour arriver à 60% d'énergie renouvelable. Donc j'ai gardé les 60% d'énergie renouvelable, mais nous avons reset pour repousser à 2035. Donc les 5 axes reposent d'abord sur l'énergie solaire. Les 405 mégawatts lancés en termes de tender qui a été lancé il y a semaine dernière, l'énergie solaire, les 10 par 10 mégawatts, 100 mégawatts, les 3 fois 40 mégawatts, 120 mégawatts, et aussi le vent, le parc éolien de Plaine des Roches que nous voulons agrandir. Ceci dit, nous avons aussi l'intention de valoriser la bagasse. Et comme personnellement, je l'ai dit à plusieurs reprises, je le crois à plusieurs reprises, il n'y a pas de bagasse. La bagasse, à mon avis, n'a pas d'avenir si nous ne faisons pas ce que d'autres pays l'ont fait avant nous, c'est de phase out le charbon graduellement par la biomasse. Et en parlant de biomasse, nous parlons de wooden chips. Nous voulons que, au fil des années, dans les 3 ans à venir, nous voulons que remplacer le charbon par au moins 15% de charbon. On va brûler en l'entrecoupe ensemble avec la bagasse. Donc c'est la biomasse. Nous avons aussi lancé le Household Project sur les toits des maisons. Ça forme partie des 5 axes que nous avons identifiés pour les 10 ans à venir. Les households. Donc, vous mettez un panneau de 10 kW sur votre maison sans la permission du CEB. Je l'ai dit à plusieurs reprises, l'un des blocages que j'ai remarqué depuis très longtemps et aussi en tant que ministre, c'est que le CEB prend son temps, 4 mois, 5 mois, 6 mois, 1 année pour vous donner la permission de mettre des panneaux pour être autonome chez vous. À mon avis, c'était une aberration. C'est pour cette raison que j'ai demandé de lever cet obstacle pour que, dorénavant, n'importe qui dans ce pays qui veut être autonome de 10 kW, vous mettez sur votre maison et vous avez l'autonomie pour vous personnellement et de revendre aussi avec le CEB. Nous avons aussi, dans notre politique, monsieur le vice-président, aussi la batterie. Le stockage. Notre problème à nous, c'est de 6h à 10h, de 6h à 9h du soir. Nous avons la pointe. Le CEB étant sous la pression. Donc, ce que nous avons fait, c'est que dorénavant, depuis 1 année, tous les projets d'énergie renouvelable de ce pays est obligé d'être équipés de la batterie. C'est pour cette raison que nous avons acheté, il y a 1 année, une batterie de 20 MW qui sera opérationnelle en fin juin ou juillet de cette année-ci. Donc ces 20 MW que nous avons acheté de batterie va nous aider en termes de pointe. Nous pensons aussi acheter d'autres batteries. Donc tous les projets que vous voyez dans les journaux, tous les projets que nous avons mis en public, ce sont des projets avec batterie. Donc c'est obligatoire. Dernier point de notre axe dans la stratégie énergétique, monsieur le vice-président, c'est l'efficacité énergétique, la sobriété énergétique, l'efficience énergétique. Moi, je l'appelle le négawatt, pas le mégawatt. C'est le mégawatt non utilisé. C'est le professeur Joël Deroné. Quand mon ami, l'honorable Ousmane Mohamed, était à la tête du Maurice Île Durable, c'était le négawatt. Donc l'efficience énergétique, la campagne d'efficience énergétique qui commence encore une fois à partir de juillet de cette année-ci, sera une campagne d'efficience énergétique agressive pour éviter le gaspillage, faire comprendre à la population, faire comprendre aux entrepreneurs que l'audit énergétique, l'économie énergétique, la sobriété énergétique nous fera gagner en mégawatts. Donc ces 5 axes, monsieur le vice-président, notre stratégie énergétique pour les 5, 6 prochaines années ou 9 ans, ce sera autour de ces projets.
Merci, monsieur le vice-président, bien sûr. Puis-je demander aux ministres concernés, dans la volonté d'agrandir le parc éolien de Plaine des Roches, quelle sera la contribution sur votre 60% que vous voulez réaliser à 2035 sera la contribution sur le National Grid de par les fermes éoliennes.
Ce que j'ai dit un peu plus tôt, Monsieur le Président, c'est que les parcs que nous avons à Plaine des Roches contribuent très peu, hein, je peux dire très peu, 0,3% de notre mix énergétique. C'est pour cette raison que nous croyons au ministère, nous croyons qu'un bouquet énergétique fera l'affaire du pays. Vous savez, nous avons des demandes en pointe et nous avons aussi des demandes en baseload, comme on dit dans le jargon. Donc, le baseload, il y a peut-être deux technologies qui peuvent répondre au baseload. Le charbon, l'huile load. Donc, nous sommes obligés d'avoir un bouquet énergétique. Un bouquet énergétique où vous avez le vent, où vous avez le soleil, où vous avez l'efficience énergétique, vous avez la bagasse, vous avez la biomasse, les wooden chips, mais aussi la batterie. Donc, la partie de éolienne va contribuer très minimement, si je puis dire, hein, à notre bouquet énergétique, mais cela va contribuer à ce que c'est un vrai bouquet. Vous savez comment c'est un bouquet, avec des roses et autre chose. Donc notre bouquet énergétique va comprendre beaucoup de fleurs. Merci.
Okay, thank you. Honorable Second Member for Melrose Cameroon.
Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Vice-président B535.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, my ministry has been made aware of 7 alleged cases of child ill treatment at the Twaha Academy boarding school. Mr. Deputy Speaker, on 1st April 2026, the Family Support Service of FLAC was contacted by the Bel Air Rivière Sèche police station to report that 2 minors, MZZHM, aged 15, and MAI, aged 14, had stated that one Mr. Epi, principal at the Twaha Academy boarding school, had once given them a cigarette to smoke, after which they felt dizzy. The officers were informed that the 2 minors had been convened to record their statements on 2nd April 2026. The police was advised to inform the minors and their parents to attend the Family Support Service of FLAC after recording their statements at the police station. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I'm informed that on 2nd April 2026, the Bel Air Rivière Sèche police station was contacted by my officers, as neither the minors nor their parents had attended the Family Support Service of FLAC. The police informed that the minors, in the presence of their respective mothers, had recorded their statements at the Bel Air Rivière Sèche police station, and that an alleged case of child ill treatment had been entered under OB 1158/26 as a pre-measure against the principal of the institution, Mr. Epi. It is to be noted that no case of sexual abuse was reported under that OB number. However, the Family Support Service of FLAC contacted the parents of the minors and explained the services offered by the ministry. But the parents declined that the children be medically examined and did not wish any psychological support. They were, however, provided with the contact details of the Family Support Service for future reference. Mr. Deputy Speaker, on 7th April 2026, the Bel Air Rivière Sèche police station informed the Family Support Service of FLAC that a 13-year-old minor, MSNB, had recorded a statement in the presence of his mother in connection with an alleged case of child ill treatment, and OB 1245/2026 was entered. As per the statement, the child had been slapped on his cheek by the principal of the institution, Mr. Epi. On the same day, the minor MSNB, accompanied by his mother, attended the Family Support Service of FLAC, where he reported that he had been a victim of both physical and verbal abuse by Mr. Epi. On the following day, he was medically examined by the police medical officer at Line Barracks. My ministry has provided the minor and his mother with psychological assistance. A review is scheduled for 23rd April 2026, had been scheduled then. Follow-up sessions are being maintained by the FSS of FLAG. On 9th April 2026, another minor, MSDA, 11 years old, made a statement to the police station in the presence of his father to the effect that he was on several occasions assaulted by Mr. Epi, the last time being in March 2026 with a mop stick. He was examined by the police medical officer on 14th April 2026. On 11th April 2026, one person named MMHN, now 18 years old, reported that when he was 17 years old and a student at Twaha Academy boarding school, he was assaulted by Mr. Epi. He did not want to be medically examined. On 13th April 2026, another minor, SZB, age 13 years, accompanied by his mother, made a statement at Bel Air Rivière Sèche police station in connection with OB 1158/26 child abuse case. On the same day, minor SZB and his mother attended the family support service of FLAC. He related that he joined Twaha Academy boarding school since November 2025, and in February 2026, Mr. Epi had hit him with a bamboo stick. He further stated that in March 2026, Mr. Epi had hit him on his head as he was scratching his eyes during prayer time. On the same day, minor SZB was seen by a psychologist of my ministry, and the case was referred to FSS Triolet for further assessment. On 21st April, minor MAI, aged 14 years, student of the Twaha Academy boarding school, stated in the presence of his mother that he was assaulted by Mr. Epi on several occasions, but he refused to be medically examined. On the same day, another minor, MZZHM, age 15, student of the Twaha Academy boarding school, made a statement in the presence of his mother that he was assaulted by Mr. Epi on several occasions. I am informed that a police inquiry is ongoing on the allegations made against the principal of the Twaha Academy boarding school. I am further informed that the Twaha Academy boarding school has ceased its operation since 31st March 2026.
Yes, I will allow you supplementary, but be careful, there is still a police inquiry going on, and we don't want to prejudice the police inquiry. So
Ne vous
be careful with
inquiétez
your
pas, Monsieur le
supplementary.
Vice-président, ne vous inquiétez pas. Ouais. Alors, Monsieur le Vice-président, je vous remercie de me donner l'opportunité de poser quelques supplémentaires. La ministre peut-elle indiquer à la Chambre, dans cette affaire aussi grave et traumatisante, comment se portent les enfants victimes ainsi que leurs familles? Merci.
Monsieur le vice-président, à ce stade, à ce jour, à ce matin, je n'ai pas eu les nouvelles des enfants et des parents.
S'il vous plaît, Monsieur le Vice-président.
So question that I receive whether
La ministre peut-elle déposer sur la table de l'Assemblée un relevé précis et daté du nombre de séances de soutien psychologique effectivement dispensées aux victimes et à leurs parents? Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Vice-président.
Monsieur le vice-président, je ne suis pas en présence de ces informations right now.
Une dernière, Monsieur le Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Vice-président. La ministre peut-elle indiquer à la Chambre si son ministère a réellement la capacité d'assumer un suivi psychologique régulier et efficace compte tenu du nombre d'enfants qui se sont manifestés? Vous avez d'ailleurs listé les victimes ainsi que leurs familles, ou admet-elle que les ressources actuelles sont insuffisantes pour répondre à l'ampleur des besoins? Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Vice-président.
Monsieur le Vice-président, je pense que les psychologues sont suffisamment qualifiés pour support the families. Mais toujours est-il que les ressources ne sont jamais assez, ne sont jamais suffisantes.
The Honorable Second Member for Fla. Bon accueil.
Oui, Monsieur le Vice-président, B536, s'il vous plaît.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, constituency number 9, Flag-Bonacay, spans over a reasonably wide geographical area. It comprises several villages and residential zones, with Central Flag serving as the principal socio-economic hub. I am informed by the NLTA that the constituency benefits from an extensive bus service network of 37 routes. Public transport services in the constituency are mainly provided by individually owned buses operating under Bus Owners Cooperative Societies Limited and along some 34 routes, as well as by the NTC on Route 56, the Triolet bus service on Route 29, and Divla Limited on Route 240. These 39 routes may be broadly grouped as follows: 6 routes serving the north, which include regions such as Goodlands, Corbeil, and Rivière-du-Rempart; 7 routes serving the region of Port-Louis; 9 routes serving the regions such as Curepipe, Rosehill, and surrounding areas; 8 routes serving the eastern coastal belt, including regions such as Belmar, Palma, Trou-de-Douce, and Poste-Lafayette; 5 routes serving as local and circular routes within the outskirts of Central Flag. In view of the extensive nature of this network, I'm tabling the full list of bus routes to and fro from constituency number 9. Deputy Speaker, sir, I am further informed by the NLTA that it has received representation from inhabitants of some localities on bus services. Following an assessment, it has been observed that the issue at hand is not so much the absence of routes, but rather the adequacy, frequency, and the financial viability of services on certain existing routes. The routes identified by the NLTA having inadequate services are Route 219, the description is in the list, Route 55A, and Route 54. Services along these 3 routes are provided by buses of other routes on a roster basis under the trip-based payment under a contract between the NLTA and Flag Bus Owners Cooperative Society. It is worth underlining that previously twice buses were licensed along Route 218 and 2 buses were also granted licenses for Route 55A. All these buses could not continue providing services along these routes as they were mostly because they were uneconomical. The operators were bound to seek transfer of their license to other routes. The grant of licenses along these routes will therefore not solve the transport problems of residents of those regions, as for after a period of time, the new operators will not be able to sustain the services. The better solution, according to the NLTA, would be to increase substantially the number of paid trips being provided under the contracts with the cooperative society during both weekdays and weekends. This arrangement hopefully will better meet the needs of commuters, and although it may be costly, the more so as the Flag Bus Owners Cooperative Society is requesting for a substantial increase in the rate of payment per trip. The NLTA has also informed that constituency number 9 has a total of 686 taxi car licensed to operate from 77 bases of operation, besides the 333 taxis licensed at hotels. Therefore, a total of 1,019 taxis out of 7,803, which is a total of 13%, the highest among all the 20 constituencies. Mr. Anilbechi will surely agree with me. These taxis cars mostly operate as taxi train, known as separate fares, and complement transport needs along corridors which bus services are either not operational or services are inadequate. To end, Deputy Speaker, sir, as part of my broader approach to closely monitor public transport issues across all constituencies, I shall shortly, as discussed, convene a meeting with the honourable members of elected constituency number 9 to discuss the matters in detail. I wish to underline that similar exercises have been carried out in other constituencies since my becoming Minister of Land Transport and have proven to be constructive in addressing ground-level concerns. Thank you.
Yes, honourable member.
Yes, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Will the Honourable Minister urge the NLTA to carry out a thorough investigation that will include checking whether annual revenue returns are being done by correct taxi operators at the MRA in order to track and, if needed, cancel the PSV licenses of those taxis which are inoperational today and allocate them to people who are willing to offer the service?
I definitely welcome this question, Deputy Speaker, sir, but I think this problem is a chronic problem around the country. Taxi drivers are supposed to provide taxi services, but they don't adequately do so.
The Honourable First Member for Montagne Blanche.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. B537.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I wish to inform the House that my ministry provides financial assistance under Overseas Treatment Scheme for patients requiring medical treatment not available in our public health institutions in Mauritius. According to my ministry's policy, provision is made for financial assistance under the following schemes. Number one, patients over 25 years old, a total of 1.3 million rupees, and under child cancer scheme and pediatric scheme, unlimited assistance for patients up to 25 years old. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I'm informed that a total of 1,851 patients have benefited from financial assistance under the above scheme from January 21 to December 25. I'm further informed that since this government took office, a total of 786 patients for period December 2024 to April 2026 have received financial assistance, including 105 patients under the child cancer scheme. These schemes are being reviewed. There have been complete abuse and over-exaggeration with a colossal amount of funds disbursed for treatment. With regard to part A of the question, I am, with your permission, tabling the information as requested. According to my ministry's policy, provision is made for financial assistance. As regard part B of the question, my ministry is continuously implementing a series of measures aimed at strengthening public healthcare services at the national level. These measures include sustained massive investment in healthcare infrastructures, state-of-the-art equipment and human resources. These measures would to a large extent reduce our dependency on foreign hospitals for treatment of our patients. During this financial year, an allocation of approximately 18.5 billion rupees has been earmarked for the health sector, reflecting government's commitment to modernizing and strengthening public healthcare delivery across all levels of care. At the primary care level, the following measures are being implemented: prevention, early detection and community-based management of diseases, particularly non-communicable diseases. Second, diabetic retinal screening, diabetic foot care are being decentralized to community level, and structured programs for early intervention and lifestyle modification for diabetes and pre-diabetes patients, supported by the development of specialized diabetes care centers. At the secondary level, regional hospitals are being continuously upgraded with improved diagnostic and treatment facilities, and specialized services are being decentralized to improve accessibility and reduce pressure on tertiary institutions. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, at the tertiary care level, the trauma and emergency unit in each regional hospital has already been set up under the supervision of emergency physicians. The kidney and renal transplant unit at Jawaharlal Nehru Hospital has already been operationalized. A bone marrow transplant unit will also be operational once the setup is ready. Interventional cardiology services have been extended to Hosbel Hospital. The vascular surgery unit at Flak Hospital is already operational. The new eye hospital at Muka is already providing significantly ophthalmological care to patients, and specialized ophthalmology services have been decentralized to Flag and Suyak hospitals. Other major projects in the pipeline include the construction of an Ayush Center of Excellence at Côte d'Or to promote and develop traditional systems of medicine, and the construction of a new SSRN hospital aimed at modernizing and expanding the Sir Shivsagar Ramgulam National Hospital to strengthen healthcare infrastructure. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I have to emphasize that my ministry is also having recourse to services of foreign doctors from United Kingdom, Australia, India, and South Africa to assist us in complex super-specialized surgeries. These experts are specialized in the fields of vascular surgery, ophthalmology, neurosurgery, interventional radiology, renal transplant, ENT, head and neck surgery, oncosurgery, amongst others. Such foreign visits also offer a golden opportunity for our local doctors to keep abreast with modern techniques and care management already in place in advanced countries. From November 2024 to date, 84 specialized foreign doctors came to Mauritius to undertake complex surgeries such as in the fields of ophthalmology, orthopedics, renal as well as cardiac and vascular surgeries. In fact, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, at present, there is an onco-surgeon from Apollo Hospital, India, who is conducting complex surgeries at the National Cancer Center. Diagnostic and emergency healthcare services are also being strengthened through the expansion and upgrading of CT scan and MRI facilities across public hospitals, including ongoing procurement and installation of additional imaging equipment at key institutions such as Flag Hospital, Rosebell Hospital, and Victoria Hospitals. A PET scan is operational at National Cancer Center, Phoenix. A national program is being implemented for the replacement and modernization of aging radiology equipment, while efforts are underway to enhance equitable access through establishment of CT scan and MRI services in underserved regions, including the Flag and Southern regions. In parallel, SWAMI capacity is being reinforced through expansion of ambulance fleet to strengthen both emergency response and inter-hospital patient transfers. During this financial year, 4 additional ambulances have SAMI ambulances have been procured, and my ministry.
You got a lot to go?
I'm concluding now because the question was such, it requires a lengthy answer.
Yeah, but if it's a long answer, we can always circulate it.
Only one or 2 minutes. So during this financial year, 4 additional ambulances have been procured, and my ministry will procure some additional ambulances during the next financial year. A comprehensive set of measures is also being implemented to strengthen sexual and reproductive health services across the continuum of care. These include strengthening maternal and newborn care, expanding family planning and fertility services, improving adolescent and youth-friendly health services, reinforcing sexually transmitted infections and HIV prevention, and enhancing women's cancer screening services. In addition, the services of a fertility expert from India have been enlisted and will be provided at the SSR and hospital. My ministry is also reinforcing a comprehensive harm reduction strategy as part of its public health response. In parallel, needle and syringe programs, addiction treatment services, and residential rehabilitation facilities are being strengthened through the Drug Users and Administrative Panel to support rehabilitation and integration. My ministry is further strengthening a human resource capacity in the health sector. Some 138 trainee nurses will join the nursing cadre in June 2026 upon completion of their training. The scheme of service has been amended to allow direct recruitment of qualified nursing officers, and 1,000 additional nurses are being trained over the next 3 years. Since September 2025, 139 medical and health officers have been recruited, including 106 through the Public Service Commission and 33 on contractual basis. In addition, 14 specialists and senior specialists have been recruited since July 2025 in the fields such as orthopedic, urology, obstetrics and gynecology, and pediatrics. These specialists will also include emergency physicians who will service the trauma and emergency unit in each of the 5 regional hospitals. Through continuous investment across infrastructure, services, and human resources, and through a balanced approach encompassing prevention, treatment, and rehabilitation and specialized care, government is progressively strengthening the capacity of our public health system to meet the evolving needs of the population. This strategy is ultimately aimed at ensuring equitable access to quality health care locally, improving health outcomes for all citizens, and reducing dependence on overseas medical treatment in a structured and sustainable manner.
Yes, Honourable.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I thank the Honourable Minister for his answer. As rightly pointed out by Honourable Minister, that diagnostic is very important Is he aware that the MRI, CT scan at National Cancer Center and Candos Hospital are not working properly, and this is causing serious issues to the patients, and appointments are being given in December 2026?
Well, I'm made aware that at the cancer hospital there have been a slight problem, but that has already been looked into. But I would like to add up that the last 10 years, much investment was not made in those equipments, and that is the reason why the cancer, for example, in Victoria, it must be above 10 years old, and repeated breakdowns do occur. But we have taken the decision, probably in the forthcoming budget, we have to change. We are going to have one additional MRI, a new MRI, to be set up in Victoria Hospital.
The Honourable Third Member for Port-East North and Montalon.
Merci, Monsieur le Vice-président. B538, s'il vous plaît.
Monsieur le Vice-président, la CWR m'informe que la région de Bois-Pignolet, située dans la circonscription numéro 4 Port-Louis-Nord-Montagne-Longue, compte un total de 836 abonnés. La conduite de distribution principale le long de la route principale de Bois-Pignolet est constituée d'un vieux tuyau en amiante ciment de 100 mm, sujet à des ruptures fréquentes en raison de son âge, de son état, provoquant ainsi des fuites. Suite à plusieurs plaintes, la Central Water Authority a récemment traité 3 fuites importantes détectées sur la conduite de distribution principale. 2 autres fuites mineures ont également été détectées et seront réparées d'ici fin avril. Donc, si c'est réparé ou sera réparé dans les jours à venir, 2026. Monsieur le Vice-président, j'ai également été informé par la CWA que dans le but d'améliorer la fiabilité de l'approvisionnement en eau de la région à long terme, environ 1,2 km de tuyaux de long de la route principale de Bois-Pignolet seront remplacés dans le cadre du phase 2 du programme de remplacement de tuyaux financé par la ligne de crédit indienne, les 1,2 milliard de roupies que nous avons reçus de l'État indien. Donc, l'attribution du contrat pour les travaux de remplacement des tuyaux est prévue pour septembre de cette année-ci.
Yes.
Je remercie le ministre pour sa réponse. Juste pour lui dire que la situation cause pas mal d'inconvénients à tous ces abonnés, ces habitants de Bois-Pignolet. Ma question, c'est est-ce qu'il peut transmettre un message au niveau de la CWA pour que ces fuites, où il y a pas mal de perditions actuellement, puissent être réparées dans un délai assez rapidement pour suivre la situation actuelle au niveau de Bois-Pignolet. Merci.
Ouais, Monsieur le Président, je note et je transmettrai, mais je dois dire aussi que ces tuyaux en amiante ciment, des tuyaux datant plus de 60 ans, bon, c'est difficile parce que si nous mettons, je l'ai dit l'autre jour, si nous mettons trop de pression dans les lignes, les tuyaux s'effritent, se cassent. Si nous mettons pas suffisamment de pression dans les tuyaux, certaines personnes en hauteur n'arrivent pas à voir l'eau. Donc, c'est pour cette raison que nous sommes obligés d'envoyer des camions citernes. Donc, je vais transmettre. Mais j'ai posé la question, moi aussi, pour demander pourquoi est-ce qu'on ne répare pas. Nous préférons réparer les grosses fuites et laisser pour un petit peu plus tard les petites fuites. Donc, nous sommes un peu divisés en ce qui concerne la réparation, quand il y a pas mal de fuites dans cette région. Donc, nous espérons très vite remplacer ces tuyaux avec l'aide indienne et je suis sûr que la situation va s'améliorer.
Honourable Second Member for Granby-Poudre.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, sir. B539.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I would like to thank the Honourable Member for the question. I'm informed that Mauritius Telecom has introduced e-billing as part of its green initiatives. This implies that customers can receive their bill in electronic forms instead of paper or by email or SMS. Enabling e-billing for mobile, prepaid, postpaid services and fixed telephony were implemented in 2021 and 2022. And I'm further informed that e-billing is being implemented across fixed and mobile services. Customers who do not have access to emails may actually opt for SMS e-bill, while paper bills remain available on request and can be collected free of charge at the outlets. Assistance is also being given to customers through hotline over and above the outlets offering options such as SMS notifications, as we just mentioned, especially for elderly and vulnerable, because we know they are constrained. Today, 82% of customers receive their bills electronically. The remaining customers, including businesses and certain government services, they still receive their paper bills. In fact, since 2022, there have been 3,540 complaints with regards to bills around fixed line services. However, these customers, they prefer paper bills, and those requests have been addressed. I'm also informed that there are no recorded cases where customers were penalized. And this is a substantive part of the question, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, because there's a question around whether they have been penalized. So they have not been penalized. In fact, customers are given 30 days to pay their bills, and a penalty of 10% can be applied. However, for requests for waiving, Mauritius Telecom is giving due consideration to requests in cases which are genuine. The requests are being acceded to. And further information, I'm sure, will provide suggestions to Mauritius Telecom, because they have an independent board, for them to make information available with regards to the vulnerable and the old people. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Deputy Speaker, sir. Will the Honourable Minister propose a procedure to apply for a waiver on a retroactive basis, especially for the senior citizen and vulnerable person?
Thank you for this supplementary question, Honourable Member. We will certainly convey this message to the board of Mauritius Telecom for them to give effect to the request. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir.
Thank you. The Honourable Shared Member for Flag Bulakai.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, sir. B540. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, in regard to the proposed setting up of a cultural desk that would act as a one-stop shop for concert organizers and artists, I wish to inform the House that this project is a key measure set out in the government program 2025-2029 and a priority for government. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, since taking office, I have ensured that substantial progress has been made towards the implementation of this project. The cultural desk is being developed by my ministry with the technical support of the Economic Development Board, using the National Electronic Licensing System as its digital backbone. I am pleased to inform the House that a mock-up of the online platform has already been developed and will finalize after addressing some challenges identified during this exercise. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, it is important to underline that this project is a complex and multi-layered exercise. It requires the integration and collaboration of a wide range of stakeholders across several ministries, departments and institutions, including the Police Department, local authorities, the Mauritius Fire and Rescue Services, the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the Tourism Authority, the Beach Authority, the Ministry of Labour and Industrial Relations, the Mauritius Sport Council, the Mauritius Society of Authors, and Mauritius Multi-Sports Infrastructure Limited. At present, the system governing the organization of concert is highly fragmented. Event organizers are required to obtain up to 15 clearances from multiple institutions through manual processes and physical submissions. In case of incomplete applications, organizers are required to restart the process, thereby creating delays and placing an additional burden on artists. This has, over time, discouraged many operators in the sector and constrained the organization of cultural events. Mr. Deputy Speaker, in order to ensure that the cultural desk effectively addresses these shortcomings, extensive consultations had to be carried out with all stakeholders concerned. I am informed that around 12 meetings have been held both at the level of my ministry and by the Economic Development Board
in addition to several one-to-one technical sessions with individual stakeholders to map out their respective procedures, requirements, and constraints. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, these consultations have brought to light a number of systemic issues which have to be resolved prior to finalization of the system. These include significant divergence in processing timeline across institutions, with some clearances being issued within a few days, while others may take up to 30 days. In addition, there are inconsistencies in payment procedures, with certain institutions requiring payment prior to the issuance of clearances, while others process payments afterwards. Such disparities, if not addressed, would undermine the objective of creating a streamlined and user-friendly one-stop shop. Another constraint relates to the adoption of one-line payment system. While some government institutions are already integrated with the e-payment gateway, others continue to rely on manual payment processes. In this regard, my ministry has scheduled a meeting with the Accountant General Department and the Ministry of Finance tomorrow with a view to harmonizing and standardizing online payment mechanism across all relevant institutions. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, in parallel, procedures will be harmonized, timelines standardized, and operational requirements aligned across institutions. The objectives is to ensure that the cultural desk does not merely replicate existing bottlenecks in digital form, but instead delivers a genuinely simplified and efficient process for users. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I also wish to highlight that certain delays encountered in the implementation of this project were attributable to bottlenecks at the level of the local authorities, where procedures differ from one authority to another, and where inputs were not always provided within the expected time frame. Upon being apprised of this situation, I convened a meeting with my colleague, the Honourable Minister of Local Government, together with chairpersons and chief executives of the local authorities to address all these issues. Following this intervention, progress has improved significantly, with inputs being consolidated and integrated into the system designed in collaboration with the Economic Development Board. Mr. Speaker, once finalized, the system will be presented to the artist community for their validation as soon as possible. Thereafter, the Economic Development Board will conduct training sessions for artists and event organizers to ensure that they are fully equipped to use the platform effectively. At the level of my ministry, officers will be specifically assigned to the culture desk.
Minister, do you have to go? Because time is nearly over.
Nearly 50 seconds.
50 seconds.
At the level of my ministry, officers will be specifically assigned to the culture desk to ensure that the system remains fully functional and operational, and to provide direct assistance to artists in case of any problems for the electronic filing of application on the platform. Let me be very clear, this reform is long overdue. For years, artists and event organizers have been calling for a one-stop shop to facilitate the organization of cultural events. Their appeals were not adequately addressed by the previous government. On the contrary, the process became increasingly restrictive, with authorizations for public concert often difficult to obtain, thereby adversely affecting livelihoods across the creative sector. This government has taken a deliberate and firm decision to change that. We are putting in place a modern, transparent, and efficient system that will remove unnecessary barriers, restore confidence, and enable our artists and cultural entrepreneurs to fully express their talent and contribute to the growth of our creative economy. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, my ministry remains fully committed to ensuring that the cultural desk becomes a truly facilitative, user-friendly, and transformative tool for the cultural sector.
The time is over. The table has been advised that the following PQs have been withdrawn. B556, B559, B550, B554, B560, B544, B545, B562, B547, B553, B557, B542, and B561.
Motion.
Honorable Prime Minister.
Yes, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I move that all the business on today's order paper be exempted from the provisions of paragraph 2 of Standing Order 10.
Seconded. Seconded. The question is that all the business on today's order paper be exempted from the provisions of paragraph 2 of his Standing Order 10. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Statement by Minister.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, with your permission, I would like to make a statement on the Chagos Archipelago. In my reply to the private notice question of last Tuesday, the 21st of April 2026, I referred to the decision of the UK government not to proceed in the House of Lords with a bill titled Diego Garcia Military Base and British Indian Ocean Territory Bill, which it had introduced with a view to ratifying the agreement between Mauritius and the United Kingdom concerning the Chagos Archipelago, including Diego Garcia. I wish to keep the House informed of further developments. On the 22nd of April 2026, I received a phone call from Mr. Jonathan Powell, the UK Prime Minister's National Security Advisor, who reiterated the commitment of the United Kingdom to the agreement on the Chagos Archipelago despite this decision of the UK government. I explained to Mr. Powell that my government would in due course review the situation and take a decision on the way forward accordingly. Mr. Deputy Speaker, as I said in my reply to the PNQ on the 21st of April 2026, officials from the UK Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office were coming to visit Mauritius that very week. Mr. Robbie Bullock, Director of Overseas Territories and Polo Directorate at the UK Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, together with the lead negotiator, Mr. Peter Candler, Mr. Paul McNell, the legal director of that department, came to Mauritius last week at the request of the UK government. They held talks on the 22nd of April 2026 with the Attorney General and the officers of his office and my office. They also called upon me on the 22nd of April 2026. During the talks, the United Kingdom highlighted that the signature of an updated UK-US exchange of notes in respect of the military base in Diego Garcia is a prerequisite for the Diego Garcia military base and British Indian Ocean Territory Bill to be taken forward in the UK Parliament. The United Kingdom indicated that while an updated exchange of notes had been agreed by the US agencies, it had not yet obtained the approval of the US President and could not therefore be signed. The United Kingdom assured Mauritius that it remains committed to the agreement which it had signed with Mauritius on the Chagos Archipelago. The United Kingdom informed Mauritius that once the updated exchange of notes would be signed by the United Kingdom and the United States, the Diego Garcia military base and British Indian Ocean Territory Bill would again be introduced in the UK Parliament. Mauritius underscored that it would not be able to wait for too long for the ratification of the agreement on the Chagos Archipelago by the United Kingdom. We indicated that we would have in due course to review the situation and decide on the way forward.
it was agreed that Mauritius and the United Kingdom would hold a virtual meeting in 1 month's time, that is towards the end of May of this year, in order to take stock of developments. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the United Kingdom has agreed that pending the ratification of the agreement on the Chagos Archipelago, the following actions could be taken. A. Organization of a heritage visit for the Chagosians to the Chagos Archipelago in line with the request made by Mr. Olivier Bankou and other Chagosians for a visit in a letter they had addressed to me earlier. B. A formal delegation of the Chagosian community would be allowed to visit the UK and to engage with MPs and other organizations as well as the UK press to put forward the views of the original native Chagosians to correct the deliberate misinformation being propagated by some Chagosians living in the UK. C. Participation of Mauritian scientists in the annual expedition of the UK's chief scientific advisor to the Chagos Archipelago and the rat eradication expedition to Peros Banos. D. Visit of a UK delegation to Mauritius to undertake a maritime security capability needs assessment. E. Follow-up to the workshop on the Chagos Archipelago Marine Protected Area, organized by the Department for Continental Shelf, Maritime Zones Administration and the Exploration of my office from the 30th of March to the 1st of April 2026, in collaboration with the Zoological Society of London and with the support of the British High Commission. F. Completion of work on outstanding issues relating to the implementation of the agreement between Mauritius and the United Kingdom on the Chagos Archipelago. And G. Implementation of further actions under the Strategic Partnership Framework, which Mauritius and the United Kingdom signed on the 22nd of May 2026. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Thank you. Promise.
Public Bill, second reading.
The Honourable Third Member for Vieux-Grand-Pont and Roseville.
Merci, Monsieur le Vice-président. Monsieur le Vice-président, d'abord, permettez-moi de commencer par féliciter l'honorable Attorney General pour avoir présenté devant cette auguste Assemblée ce projet de loi, le Certificate of Character Bill numéro 2 de 2026. Un projet de loi, Monsieur le Vice-président, qui à première vue peut paraître tout simple et sans histoire, mais un projet de loi qui en réalité poursuit un objectif fondamental. Un objectif fondamental car il s'agit d'abord de réduire les obstacles à l'emploi que font face et les citoyens ayant déjà été condamnés par une cour de justice, mais aussi celui de promouvoir, mais non seulement de promouvoir la réintégration, mais non seulement la réintégration, mais aussi la réinsertion des citoyens qui ont été condamnés par une cour de justice. Monsieur le Vice-président, en parcourant ce projet de loi, en fait, je ne peux m'empêcher de constater, je me réjouis même en fait de constater que ce projet de loi s'inscrit pleinement dans la philosophie de ce gouvernement. Ce projet de loi, en fait, Monsieur le Vice-président, s'inscrit pleinement dans la mission même de ce gouvernement. Et en préparant mon discours pour aujourd'hui, je n'ai pas pu, en fait, j'ai pris le soin de parcourir un petit peu le Government Programme, le document qui a été lu par Son Excellence le Président de la République en janvier de l'année dernière, et je vais me permettre, allow me, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, to quote a very short extract of this document, which is at page 21, paragraph 44 of the Government Programme 2025-2029. I quote, "It is the conviction of government that our country needs a social pact to reimagine our future together as one people, as one nation. Government aims at a qualitative leap towards a more inclusive society where the needs, rights, dignity, and a sense of humanism of our people shape the social system of the Republic." And the last bit, Mr. Deputy Speaker, the most important one, fundamental reforms will be brought to the outdated social security and social integration operational system of the country. Monsieur le Vice-président, this bill, in fact, ce projet de loi, the Certificate of Character Bill, in my very humble view, is in fact a concrete step precisely in this direction, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. En réalité, Monsieur le Vice-président, ce projet de loi vise à renforcer des provisions déjà existantes, des provisions qui existent déjà dans nos lois, notamment le Equal Opportunities Act. Effectivement, j'ai eu l'occasion de parcourir un petit peu le Equal Opportunities Act et on peut voir sous la définition, sous la section 3, the definition section, that the term criminal record already exists within the definition of status in section 3 of the Equal Opportunities Act. And this piece of legislation, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, the Equal Opportunities Act 2008, already prohibits discrimination by employers, especially where the offence is not relevant to the nature of the job which is being contemplated by a prospective employer or by an existing employee. Now, Mr. Deputy Speaker, as I said, in fact, under the Equal Opportunities Act, there may already be existing laws. And in fact, it's precisely to be found under Section 10 and 11 of the Equal Opportunities Act. But that being said, whilst there may be already laws existing under the Equal Opportunities Act, as I said, Sections 10 and 11, on ne peut que constater, Monsieur le Vice-président, that the reality on the ground tells us a completely different story. And in fact, as a practicing barrister, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I have seen a growing trend for employers to systematically ask for potential employees to provide them with a character certificate in this recruitment process. And in fact, we have seen very recently, there has been a massive recruitment process in the LGSC, and we all know that all these candidates for the post of scavengers have been requested to provide character certificates. Et comme moi, je suis sûr que beaucoup de mes collègues ont été approchés par ceux qui ont été recrutés, par certains bien sûr qui ont été choisis, pour nous dire que malheureusement, ils ont un antécédent. And regrettably, Mr. Deputy Speaker, they will be excluded. So, while, as I said, Mr. Deputy Speaker, whilst this practice of asking for character certificates, in fact, I'm not too sure myself if it fully complies with the data minimization principle under the Data Protection Act. That is itself debatable, but one thing is sure, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Let us be frank and concede. No employee, no applicant for a job can possibly envisage the possibility of challenging this request by a prospective employer to provide a character certificate. We know how cumbersome this can be in terms of the procedure to file a case before a court of law, etc., etc. So they simply comply, Mr. Deputy Speaker. They simply comply, they submit, and too often they are excluded. Donc, Monsieur le Vice-président, sous l'actuel système, sous l'actuelle loi, le Equal Opportunities Act, la section 10 et la section 11, nous faisons face ici à une contradiction fondamentale. D'une part, nous avons d'un côté l'employeur qui peut demander aux employés potentiels de fournir un certificat de moralité, et d'autre part, la loi nous dit que, la loi telle qu'elle existe, la loi nous dit que ce potentiel employeur ne peut pas discriminer sur cette base. But then again, Mr. Deputy Speaker, how does the applicant go about proving discrimination? How does he show that the decision of the employer to reject his application was due to his criminal record when he has no visibility whatsoever on the recruitment process? In fact, in reality, Mr. Deputy Speaker, the existing provisions under Section 10 and Section 11 of the Equal Opportunities Act, in fact, becomes more theoretical than practical. Et c'est précisément là, Monsieur le Vice-président, c'est précisément là que ce projet de loi intervient. Et quand nous parcourons ce projet de loi, justement la clause 4 du projet de loi, Monsieur le Vice-président, clause 4 of the bill goes further. In fact, clause 4 of the bill makes it now clear that an employer shall not act on criminal record and shall not discriminate an employee or a prospective employee, as the case may be, where the criminal record is not related to the employment. Now, one may argue, Mr. Deputy Speaker, that this is just a repetition of the existing laws. I'm afraid no, Mr. Deputy Speaker, this is not just a restatement of the law. It's just not a restatement of Sections 10 and 11 of the Equal Opportunities Act. Instead, it constitutes the introduction of an enforceable protection in our laws, which may now be invoked by employees and potential employees, ceux qui se sentent lésés, Monsieur le Vice-président. Et en fait, quand nous regardons encore une fois ce projet de loi, clause 12 vient justement apporter un consequential amendment. If we look at clause 12, it brings a consequential amendment à la section 10, justement, du Equal Opportunities Act, dans le but précisément d'aligner le cadre légal afin de garantir à la fois une cohérence, mais aussi, Monsieur le Vice-président, une efficacité plus accrue. Donc, Monsieur le Vice-président, on peut dire que ce projet de loi, le Certificate of Character Bill, va encore plus loin. Il réaffirme une vision essentielle de notre système de justice pénale, à la fois un système de justice pénale rétributif, parce qu'il est impératif, bien évidemment, que tout système pénal soit rétributif, mais plus important que tout, faudrait-il encore que ce système soit un système qui préconise une justice restauratrice. And this is precisely the purpose of this bill, Mr. Deputy Speaker. A system that does not only punish, but a system that also rehabilitates. A system that also reintegrates, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I once read that the greatest glory of man is not in his never falling, but in rising every time he falls. And when we look at the content of this bill, the Certificate of Character Bill, it is precisely what this bill brings about. It gives a real meaning to these words, that the greatest glory of man is not in his never falling, but in rising every time he falls. Precisely the purpose of this bill, a second chance, to provide a conducive environment for those who have failed, not to fail again, but to be provided with a second chance, to succeed. And an opportunity, in fact, Mr. Deputy Speaker, to rise and to rise again. Because after all, what is the purpose, Mr. Deputy Speaker, of a criminal justice system if it is not to allow a person, after accountability, of course, if it is not to allow a person to stand up again, to work, to contribute to society, as we would say, d'apporter d'emmener sa pierre à l'édifice, Monsieur le Vice-président. Et dans la même foulée, Monsieur le Vice-président, ce projet de loi, la clause 5 plus particulièrement, nous apporte des réponses concrètes, des paramètres tangibles, notamment, comme je dis, sous la clause 5, qui préconise une augmentation du seuil des amendes qui passe maintenant de 5 000 roupies à 50 000 roupies, et une réduction du délai qui passe maintenant de 5 ans à 2 ans. Un chiffre beaucoup plus juste, Monsieur le Vice-président. Un chiffre beaucoup plus juste et qui reflète la réalité, the exigencies of the Mauritian society. So under this bill, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, in fact, the combined effect of what is sought to be attained under this bill is abundantly clear, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Under this bill, a minor offence cannot, should not, and will not follow a person for life. In fact, after a reasonable period of time, the person ought to be able to move forward without being permanently defined by his past. Monsieur le Vice-président, nous ne pouvons maintenir un système où un citoyen de ce pays est victime de son passé. Comme dit le français, Monsieur le Vice-président, le passé est un cadavre qu'il faut enterrer, mais il peut néanmoins nous servir d'exemple afin de mieux bâtir l'avenir. Et c'est justement ce que préconise ce projet de loi, Monsieur le Vice-président. Il est essentiel, ici, de souligner que ce seuil s'applique non seulement à l'amende qui est imposée, puisque l'article en question, la clause en question, prévoit une amende à la hauteur de 50 000 roupies. Et il est important ici de préciser que ce seuil s'applique à l'amende qui est réellement infligée, c'est-à-dire, bien qu'une offense peut prévoir une peine maximale de 500 000 roupies, ce qui sera pris en considération, c'est l'amende qui sera imposée par une cour de justice. Et cela garantissant, Monsieur le Vice-président, non seulement une appréciation plus juste, mais aussi plus individualisée par la Cour. Monsieur le Vice-président, je tiens aussi à saluer une disposition particulièrement importante, mais aussi particulièrement avant-gardiste de ce projet de loi, la clause 5G. Celle qui prévoit, Monsieur le Vice-président, qu'aucune condamnation ne figurera sur un certificat de moralité lorsque l'infraction a été commise avant l'âge de 18 ans. Bien sûr, sauf pour les infractions plus graves qui sont prévues sous le first schedule. Et là, je me réjouis de l'annonce qui a été faite par l'honorable attorney général la semaine dernière, qui avait revu justement à la baisse la liste d'offenses figurant sur le first schedule que nous accueillons justement. Donc cette provision, Monsieur le Vice-président, sous la clause 5G, qu'aucune condamnation, comme je dis, ne figurera sur un certificat de moralité lorsque l'effraction a été commise avant l'âge de 18 ans, this in itself, Mr. Deputy Speaker, comprises a very powerful and necessary safeguard. Parce que nous reconnaissons, et nous devons justement reconnaître une réalité très simple, Monsieur le Vice-président. Nous faisons tous des erreurs, surtout les jeunes en particulier. Les jeunes font tous des erreurs. Qui peut prétendre ici n'avoir jamais commis d'erreurs de jeunesse? Nous faisons tous des erreurs, Monsieur le Vice-président. Mais ce qui est très important, c'est que le plus important, l'essentiel en fait, c'est que ces erreurs ne doivent en aucun cas devenir une condamnation à vie. Je vois le regard amusant et amusé de l'honorable, mon camarade, mon collègue, l'honorable Bichouk, qui en dit long, Monsieur le Vice-président. Et a mistake in youth, Mr. Deputy Speaker, a mistake in youth should not close the door to a future in adulthood. Et c'est précisément ce que préconise cette section, cette clause, la clause 5G, que j'accueille favorablement, Monsieur le Vice-président. Monsieur le Vice-président, avant de terminer, sur une autre note, j'aimerais bien faire état d'une situation. Pas plus tard que la semaine dernière, j'avais adressé une question à l'honorable docteur Arvin Boulel par rapport à la situation des pêcheurs de ma circonscription, a question which unfortunately could not be reached due to time constraint. Et pas plus tard que la semaine dernière, j'avais adressé cette question justement par rapport à la situation des pêcheurs de ma circonscription et à travers l'île, des pêcheurs qui sont contraints de produire un certificat de moralité afin de se procurer d'une carte, a fisherman card, qui est
You got 1 minute to go.
Yes, par le ministère. Donc ces pêcheurs, Monsieur le Vice-président, sont des gens simples, des gens honnêtes, des gens qui travaillent, qui ont les mêmes aspirations que nous tous, de gagner leur vie et de subvenir aux besoins de leur famille. Et ces pêcheurs, Monsieur le Vice-président, il n'est pas rare, il n'est pas inhabituel qu'ils aient à un moment ou un autre de leur vie et qu'ils aient eu une condamnation pour une infraction simple. Monsieur le Vice-président, ne serait-il pas absurde, ne serait-il pas injuste qu'un pêcheur condamné pour un simple cas de larcin, un simple cas de simple larceny, de simple assault, qu'il soit lésé, qu'il soit privé de sa carte de pêcheur uniquement pour cette raison. Évidemment, sa carte de pêcheur et tous les bénéfices, tous les avantages qui y sont liés. Donc, monsieur le Vice-président, vous conviendrez certainement qu'une personne comme lui, qui essaye de gagner sa vie, ne représente absolument aucun danger pour la sécurité maritime, aucun danger pour la sécurité de ce pays, et pour la sécurité des citoyens de ce pays, pardon. Donc, avons-nous, Monsieur le Vice-président, le droit moral de réellement priver un homme ou une femme dans cette situation de son gagne-pain pour cette raison? Non. La réponse est non, Monsieur le Vice-président. That would be most unfair, not only most unfair, but also most unreasonable. Et c'est précisément ce type d'injustice que ce projet de loi, je l'espère, Monsieur le Vice-président, nous permettra de corriger. Monsieur le Vice-président, pour conclure, for too long, our system has not only punished wrongdoings, but it has prolonged that punishment way beyond what justice requires. It has followed people into job interviews, into opportunities, into application for fisherman's card, into application for PSV license, into applications even for registration of an ONG. Bref, into one's desperate and legitimate attempts to rebuild his life after a failure. Monsieur le Vice-président, en guise de conclusion, je dirais ceci. Ce projet de loi n'est pas simplement une réforme technique. It's a statement of principle, a reflection of the philosophy of this government, a reflection of the social policy of this government, that justice must be fair, that punishment must be proportionate, and that every citizen of this country deserves a second chance. And this is precisely, Mr. Deputy Speaker, that I support this bill. Thank you very much.
I suspend the sitting for half an hour.